Theodore Jebediah Cruz is the world's #1 cuck. Not only did the world's #1 cuck get absolutely cucked by Donald Trump, where he went and supported a guy who literally said his wife looked like a dog and all this other stuff. Trigger warning, Ted Cruz, for the record. Yes, your trigger warning has been issued. Ted Cruz is about to appear on screen in a brief moment. Basically, Ted Cruz, as we know, is a cuck. This is next level. Ted Cruz foolishly had the audacity to call the January 6th insurrectionists terrorists, which is a bit of a lip moment. Let's take a look at how he will atone for said sins.
Last night, we were surprised by it. We prefaced it by saying every conservative appreciates Ted Cruz because he's one of the smartest and most articulate people in the Congress, and he's conservative. But he referred publicly to what happened on January 6th as, quote, a violent terror attack. Here it is.
We are approaching a solemn anniversary this week, and it is an anniversary of a violent terrorist attack on the Capitol, where we saw the men and women of law enforcement demonstrate incredible courage, incredible bravery, risk their lives to defend the men and women who serve in this Capitol.
Senator Cruz was game enough to come on tonight. We appreciate that. He joins us now. Senator, thanks so much for coming on.
Bro, he immediately went to Twitter. Conservatives did the Twitter do your thing, okay? And started ripping. And I mean, absolutely ripping into my dude, Theodore. We live in a country where Ted Cruz can't even say, like the senator had the audacity to say January 6th was like a solemn anniversary where people killed cops, like literally. And that's bad. As a Republican, you can't even say that. They will rip you to shreds. So, of course, he immediately had to back away from that and be like, no, I love these Patriots. Theodore Jebediah Cruz. I'm a big fan of the Patriots. It was actually awesome that they were beating the shit out of cops and stealing Nancy Pelosi's gavel. It was fucking dope. It was poggers. I'm so sorry. Please.
So I guess I mean, there are a lot of dumb people in the Congress. You're not one of them. I think you're smarter than I am. And you never use words carelessly. And yet you called this a terror attack.
Didn't you say that? Wait, someone asked me? Yeah, I'm not Ted Cruz. I don't give a I do think that January 6th was bullshit. And, you know, it's still incredibly up that it happened. But what I'm simply stating is, yeah, I don't personally give a shit. All right, let's keep going.
When by no definition was it a terror attack. That's a lie. You told that lie on purpose, and I'm wondering why you did.
Damn, dude, he's whipping them, dude.
Well, Tucker, thank you for having me on. When you aired your episode last night, I sent you a text shortly thereafter and said, listen, I'd like to go on because the way I phrased things yesterday, it was sloppy and it was frankly dumb. And
I don't buy that. Whoa. I don't buy that. Look, I've known you a long time, since before you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a fucking talk show host. That is a senator. Oh my, I gotta run that back. This is awesome, dude. I love hog infighting, by the way, but God damn, dude, what is happening? Woo!
On because the way I phrased things yesterday, it was sloppy and it was frankly dumb. And
I don't buy that. Whoa. I don't buy that. Look, I've known you a long time, since before you went to the Senate. You were a Supreme Court contender. You take words as seriously as any man who's ever served in the Senate. And every word you repeated that phrase. I do not believe that you used that accidentally. I just don't.
So, Tucker, as a result of my sloppy phrasing, it's caused a lot of people to misunderstand what I meant. Let me tell you what I meant to say. What I was referring to are the limited number of people who engaged in violent attacks against police officers. Now, I think you and I both agree that if you assault a police officer...
Tucker is right. Ted used this phrase before. Senator Ted Cruz claimed on Fox last night he had a sloppy phrasing moment when he said that this week there was a terrorist attack at the Capitol, but Cruz also had called a terrorist attack an official written statement spanning months, January 7th, February 13th, and May 28th. Here's a Cruz spokesperson in mid-January 2021, after footage emerged of a rioter saying he thought Cruz would approve their actions, as Senator Cruz has repeatedly said the terrorist attack on the Capitol was reprehensible. So no, that is what his opinion was, which is understandable. It's understandable to have that opinion, especially if you're a fucking politician. Politicians in the Democratic Party, politicians in the Republican Party, even in when it first popped off, were saying this was an attack. This was an attack on their livelihoods. This was an attack on their well-being, and they considered this to be a fucking reprehensible attack. I personally think that, you know, it was more laughable than it was like damaging. And I personally do not give a shit about the actual fucking sacred hallowed halls of Congress, but I do give a shit about what this was a symptom of. This was a symptom of a complete systemic failure. This was a symptom of a multitude of very significant problems. I care about solving those problems so that this doesn't happen again. I don't give a shit about fucking Ted Cruz. But if they found a Democratic congressperson like AOC, they would have killed him 100%, dude. Most likely, I could see that. That's why I said, like, I understand why AOC was like, I'm in fucking fear of my safety and my life, understandably. You know who else I think they may have killed? Mike Pence. Anyway, let's take a look at what Ted Cruz has to say. He's probably going to say, listen, at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second hand break.
The House managers call Representative Herrera Butler. I think it is very likely that President Trump's lawyers will call Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is clearly a relevant witness to this matter. Speaker Pelosi can testify as to when she knew about the threats on the Capitol, what she knew specifically, and in particular, she can testify. We heard already that the House Sergeant at Arms turned down National Guard protection for the Capitol
Crimson
on January
Cracker
6th because of, quote, the optics. And I think Speaker Pelosi can testify as to whether she made a decision based on optics, based on politics, not to have additional protection at the Capitol to prevent the terrorist attack that played out.
Oopsie. So, of course he said that. Like, I mean, they're politicians. They think that this is fucking terror. Like, the comparisons to 9/11 or the comparisons to fucking Pearl Harbor is psychotic. Let's be fucking real. Some people have said this is more damaging to American democracy. This is the most damaging thing that's happened to American democracy since, like, Civil War. That's also insane. There's just so many insane takes overall.
That's who I was talking about. And the reason the phrasing was sloppy is I have talked dozens, if not hundreds of times. I've drawn a distinction. I wasn't saying that the thousands of peaceful protesters supporting Donald Trump are somehow terrorists. I wasn't saying the millions of patriots across the country supporting President Trump are terrorists. And that's what...
Bro, he's literally like, he's about to cry, dude. This is psychotic. What is happening in this country, dude? We are the dumbest country on the planet. I swear to God. Every day I wake up, I click going live, and I watch shit on twitch.tv/HasanAbi, and I say to myself, it can't get stupider than this. And boy, am I wrong all the time. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, it can't be dumber than yesterday. I mean, we're seeing so much idiocy. Like, come on. This is it. And then it's like, no, then you see a fucking insane, completely cuckolded right-wing senator cry on television to a TV talk show host because he said something about how, like, the homies that did an insurrection were terrorists. At the most, what you're supposed to say in that situation is, I don't know, man, I feel like you're exaggerating a little bit. You know what I mean? That's it. Not like you will atone for your sins attitude that every single person fucking is now approaching Ted Cruz with.
A lot of people have misunderstood that comment.
Wait a second, but wait, but hold on. What you just said doesn't make sense. So if somebody assaults a cop, he should be charged and go to jail. I couldn't agree more. We have said that for years. But that person's still not a terrorist. How many people have been charged with...
By the way, some people in the neoliberal side of the internet misunderstood what I was talking about, where they were like, Hasan is going to cause people to fucking die because he wants people to fight cops. No, I'm not saying go out and resist arrest. I'm simply stating that it would be more effective if cops did not actually fucking arm themselves, and in a riot type situation that the playing field was equalized, as is what a civilized society should do. Don't be fucking ridiculous.
Terrorism on January 6th. Like, why'd you use that word? You're playing into the other side's characterization that, as Joe Kent just explained, allows them to define an entire population as foreign combatants. And you know that. So why'd you do it?
So Tucker, let me answer you directly. The reason I use that word, for a decade, I have referred to people who violently assault police officers as terrorists. I've done so over and over and over again. If you look at all the assaults we've seen across the country, I've called that terrorism over and over again. That being said, Tucker, I agree with you. It was a mistake to say that yesterday. And the reason is what you just said, which is we've now had a year of Democrats in the media twisting words and trying to say that all of us are terrorists, trying to say you're a terrorist, I'm a terrorist. And so, look, I don't like people who assault cops, and I stand up and defend cops. And the reason I use that word is that's the word I've always used for people that violently attack cops. But in this context, I get why people were angry.
Oh, you know, we're pro cop except for when cops are like, don't come into the Capitol. Yo, this is the guy that liked porn on 9/11 for the record. This is awesome, dude. This is great.
Because we've had a year of the corrupt corporate media and Democrats claiming anyone who objected to the election fraud. And by the way, remember what was happening during those protests?
Can I just ask, hold on, you work in the, I guess I just don't believe you. And I mean,
why did Ted Cruz allow this fucking whipping to occur? This is an incredible amount of, I mean, it looks like it's a staged pushback, but this is like ridiculous that he has to fucking sit there and suck it up. This is an opportunity for Tucker Carlson to look like he is defending the brave patriots on January 6th once again to his audience. And Ted Cruz is just letting him do this.
I mean that with respect, because I have such respect for your acuity and your precision, and I've seen it on display. I've covered you as a reporter. I know how you speak. And you have sat there for a year and watched people use language to distort the events of that day. Intentionally. Insurrection. Coup.
And of course it
terrorism.
Wasn't an insurrection. Saying it's an insurrection is a political term. It's a lie. I've repeatedly denounced it. And when it comes to, look, I was...
And you dumpy waters and Tucker Carlson's bills, Nick? What?
Focusing on what I normally say. That what you aired was a little 15-second snippet. What I normally say is violence is wrong, peaceful protest is right. If you engage in violence, you should be prosecuted. If you're speaking, you have a right to speak. I say that all the time.
Well, I meant, and I agree.
In that snippet.
So who's Ray Epps, by the way, since you are a senator? Like, he and this other guy are clearly encouraging the crowd to commit crimes. Neither one has been arrested or charged. What is that, do you think?
So I think that is a very good question. I don't know who Ray Epps is. I've seen that video multiple times. It's disturbing. He's clearly urging the crowd to violate the law. When you see the crowd start chanting, Fed, 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 for him to appear on the FBI's most wanted list and come off, it certainly suggests he was working for the FBI. That's not conclusive, but that's the obvious implication. And the Attorney General and the Department of Justice won't answer the question. Tucker, I can tell you, I joined with a number of other senators trying to get the Biden DOJ to answer the question why so many January 6 prisoners are in solitary confinement, why they're being treated so much worse than the Antifa rioters and the people who committed firebombing and a year of riots across the country. And this Biden DOJ won't go after them. But let me also make a quick point, Tucker. Remember, while thousands of people were standing up to defend this country on January 6th, at that exact moment, I was standing on the Senate floor objecting to the election results, demanding that we impanel an election commission to consider evidence of voter fraud. And I brought together 11 senators to join.
Bro, he's like on his hands and knees begging, crying. Please, I promise. No, it was the FBI that did it. It was Antifa. Antifa never got punished. FBI is the reason why all those people went in and, like, you know, stole Nancy Pelosi's gavel and shit. And FBI is the reason. It's totally not anything that we said or anything that we did. It's like, do I think that there was fucking agents in that crowd? Probably. Maybe some in support of the protest because they're hogs, and maybe some because they were, you know, monitoring the situation. If you personally think at this stage that, like, a lot of these 3%ers, oath keepers, and white supremacist, white nationalist militias are not heavily polluted by the three-letter agencies, you're delusional. But also, you kind of do deserve to go to jail for that. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, what's up, dude? You couldn't fucking play, like, Warhammer 40K with the boys or something? Like, you couldn't just, like, get together, you know, slam a couple beers, maybe shoot a gun off into the distance in the forest away from everybody else? You couldn't go mudding with the boys? You had to join a fucking white nationalist militia? You kind of do deserve, because you're so fucking stupid, you kind of do deserve to go to jail for, like, a little bit. There's, like, a million different things you can do with your time, and you're over here listening to some dude who went to Yale text you in the group chat, like, yeah, we should probably go get some Tenorite and, you know, kill some folks, right? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. It's like, well, fucking be normal. In a normal situation, you know what people would do if someone was like, yo, let's go blow up a fucking federal building? They would say, no, you psycho. The fuck is wrong with you? Obviously, this will never be like the same kind of mass surveillance and fucking mass torture of Muslims. Do not misunderstand me. But goddamn, dude. Why don't they like the FBI? Aren't they like super cops? No, they like the FBI when the FBI is hyper focusing on Muslims. They don't like the FBI when the FBI is like, wait a minute, white supremacist terror is actually bad. The DOJ should probably look at white supremacist terror because it's finally gotten to a fucking point where it's like literally creating stochastic terrorism in areas where they're like actually killing a bunch of fucking people. That's what happened in the aftermath of the Trump administration, that it got to such a fucking point that the FBI was like, all right, I guess we gotta fucking literally look at this. This is unavoidable. And it's true, it is unavoidable. My point is, my problem is the FBI routinely fucking enables or even pushes for the criminal behavior in a lot of these instances. Like if you look at the Governor Whitmer kidnapping shit, you know what I mean? And that is unironically similar to what they used to do with like young Muslim kids with like autism and shit on the internet, just to catch like a quick pat on the back and justify FBI funding. They'll just go after, agitate, and effectively create the logistics for any kind of involvement. Do I believe that they did the same thing for January 6th? No. They can't. You can't do that. They don't need to do that. Donald Trump and the entirety of the Republican Party and Tucker Carlson did that. What do you mean? It was FBI, brother. I couldn't control myself. FBI has mind control raised. That's why I went in. It's like, no, dude. You didn't. The FBI didn't fly you out from Alabama. You did that on your own. Okay? You did that. It's kind of at the heart of the conservative strategy in winning elections is to stop people from voting as best as they can. So in order to do that, they're going to do voter suppression. In order to justify the voter suppression, they have to lie and say that there's voter fraud. And if you keep lying about voter fraud over and over again, people are going to start believing you. And then someone's going to say, we should do something about this voter fraud. It's that Charlie Kirk moment. Like, remember that guy that was on a fucking panel that was like, when do I start killing Democrats? Like, he was like, I have all the guns. When can I start killing all the Democrats, please? To Charlie Kirk. Like, that's the logical conclusion that you are going to arrive at if people are constantly fucking telling you that, like, this thing is happening.
At this point, we're living under corporate and medical fascism.
Charlie Kirk has 560,000 subscribers, and this video has 27,000 views, bro.
This is tyranny. When do we get to use the guns? No, and I'm not, that's not a joke. I'm not saying it like that. I mean, literally, where's the line? How many elections are they going to steal before we kill these people?
So, like, what do you expect, dude? That's like, you keep lying to your fucking fan base. Homie's like, I got guns. Like, why can't I start killing Democrats? By the way, incredible pro-lifers, dude. I mean, pro-lifers who are like, when can we start shooting? You know, that is the same energy as people fucking rushing and storming the Capitol. That's what's going on. Motherfuckers will literally say these words, okay? These exact same words, and then turn around, watch this video, and go, that guy's Antifa. It's like, motherfucker, are you Antifa? You just said those words. That guy's FBI. Okay, are you FBI? You said it too. It kind of goes hand in hand with being a conservative, because you have to be very stupid to, you know, think this way. So then obviously, if you're that stupid, then you also experience the level of cognitive dissonance that you're like, that is a different person than me. You see it in every facet of conservatism, where it's the same energy as like seeing a fat conservative anti-vaxxer fucking die because they didn't get vaccinated, and then going, oh, I'm very different. I know my friend Hank, he died. But I'm very different. I'm way more active. It's like, no, you are literally, like, from behind, you guys look the same, okay? Like, I thought that you were Hank, actually. So, no, you are not different. You should definitely get vaccinated.
Me in supporting getting to the bottom of that. So, of course, it would be ridiculous for me to be saying that the people standing up and protesting to follow the law were somehow terrorists. I was talking about people who commit violence against cops, and you and I both agree, if you commit violence against cops, you should go to jail.
Yeah, but you're not a terrorist. You know, you're not. You're a guy who
who
assaulted a cop. Okay, so there's a legal difference.
Damn, Tucker's like, yo, assaulting cops does not mean you should be considered a terrorist. Interesting take from Tucker Carlson.
As you well know,
of course, there is a unless there that you're not hearing. And the unless there is unless you're brown or black, in which case you are already automatically qualified as a terrorist, just waiting to do terror, which would be assaulting a cop or numerous other things.
Better than I do, since you were actually in the running for the Supreme Court. And there's a moral difference between a guy,
but Tucker, the reason I use that word is for a decade I've used that word for people that violently assault cops. I use that word all in 2020 for the Antifa and BLM terrorists that assaulted cops and firebombed police cars. But I agree.
I love that Tucker Carlson's like, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Have you considered that violence, Theodore Cruz, is at the heart of political struggle? Have you considered that sometimes the only adequate measure against a state that monopolizes its violence on marginalized communities is by revolting? A proletarian revolution. Crazy. I can't believe he's saying these things. Except he doesn't believe in any of this shit, okay? He's just saying that because hog, okay? Hog. He's like, oh, these hogs, they did the right thing by fucking beating cops and like going into the Capitol building.
It was a mistake to use the word yesterday because the Democrats and the corporate media have so politicized it. They're trying to paint everyone as a terrorist, and it's
assaulting a cop equals not terrorism is the hill pro-cop Tucker is willing to die on. That's not a hill. Conservatives do not concern themselves with a fucking community of annoying woke scolds. There is no one in the conservative infrastructure that's going to turn around and tell Tucker Carlson that he's wrong for saying this. It is exactly the diametric opposite of how it works as a leftist, okay? Even though I've never had a bad take and I only have good takes, there's motherfuckers in here trying to clip shit that make it seem like I'm against the position that I am for. That's how much the left loves infighting. On the Republican side, you can go as far right as you possibly can. Most people are probably just going to say that's great.
Lie. And by the way, I've spoken out vocally against your exchange you just had. They want to paint us as Nazis. Yes,
I know, it's scary.
That is what they're trying to do. And look, I'm the one leading the fight in the Senate against this garbage. And it's what I have been doing, and it's what I'll continue doing.
Well, I appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you very much, Senator Ted Cruz.
Homie's about to cry, dude. That was awesome, though. This was kind of funny watching Ted Cruz, like, lose his shit. He's fighting for his life, dude.